So, it's only 2 or 3 more days before the sheriff throws me out of my home. Now, why am I getting thrown out of my home? Is this something I did? No. I have a job. I have a doctor. I have a home. I'm sober. I'm not facing any charges. I have no criminal charges. But I do get malpracticed every time I go to the doctors. Why would that be? Well, my father and mother built a machine to keep me from getting the help I need. My mother destroyed my body and then started trafficking me around the country while trying to bury what she did. And then from the age of 12 to 19, she just, every time she got an opportunity, he's suicidal, he's making up a story, he's lying, it's all a story, it's all a fantasy, Zach makes it fantasy. Even though in no time did I ever make up a story to the doctors or anywhere. Never. I've never been charged. No doctor ever thought I was making up stories. But here's the thing. The doctors did wonder if my mother was being honest or not when she used to bring swimming medals to the doctors trying to get me on pills saying I'm a fantasy spinner. And then I'm 7 years old crying, "This is my medal for the orphanage. Why does she gotta take my medal from the orphanage? I won that at the pool. I won that. I worked hard for that." "Shut up over there," my mother says. "Yeah, no, you didn't. You stole that from an African American kid. African Americans are athletic and you're not. And you're getting back at me for this last name. So I want you on medication because you got attachment disorder and you're a liar and you're a thief. And that's what this is." Even though none of it's true. It's just my mother going to the doctors trying to cover up her crimes. So the more stories she tells like this, maybe the snowball will eventually pick up traction. My mother's trying to get the doctors to sign up on these stories. That way she could take that story and that letter to another doctor. Then she can tell more stories and get them sign up on that. Then they'll get me on more meds that cause more side effects so I look more funny. Then she'll have more doctors sign up on more meds and this will go downhill until I'm dead. Well, now I'm 32 years old. To keep surviving and keep alive, I need a diagnosis from a neurologist that writes down everything that happened to me and why I have lack of movement in the legs, arms, why I lose speech, why at times I'm on the side of the road unable to move, why I have seizures at times, why I'm sensitive to flashing lights, cold, weird noises, stuff like that. And if we don't do that, I'm going to have trouble with the police randomly. I'm going to have trouble returning to work. I'm going to have trouble ever using a shelter. I'm going to have trouble getting care when they find me on the ground unconscious. Doctors won't be able to do their jobs. Nobody will be able to do their jobs because my mother and father set it up so I would be murdered. Yes, murder by poison. My mother repeatedly poisoned me with her own medications and whatever she could do to make me disabled. Then she tried to cut off doctors from finding out what she was doing by just saying everything's a lie, everything's a fantasy, he's just suicidal. Anytime he gets hurt or falls on the ground, he's doing it on purpose to himself. So my mother would just keep on saying stuff like that, cutting off the doctors. So, who knows the most about me and my mother's relationship? Like, who knows about the best about my mother's dark side? If we went to each one of the family members and asked, what is the worst thing that Patricia did to Zach? Then went to the next family member. What's the worst thing that Patricia did to Zach? Most of them could care less about remembering it. My nephew would probably say he got smacked around with a ruler and he was on lots of medications. He was always taking some type of pills and he was always looking cockeyed from those pills. My brother would say, yeah, it seemed like Zach was over medicated on pills he didn't need and she was acting very unstable. Then my sister will go, well, Zach seemed crazy, but also he always had something wrong with Patricia. Patricia was doing something to him and we had no idea what it is. And then you ask my father will go, she's an angel. She never did anything wrong. Oh no, Zach's the evil one. Yeah, all these stories that my wife told me, yeah, they're true. Zach burnt down my house when he was 5. He did. Do you have an insurance claim to show us this burnt house? Because Zach says that this was all made up stories. So if Zach really burned down your house, oh, that must have an insurance claim with it, right? Well, he didn't really burn down our house. Oh, but you just said he tried to burn your house down. Well, would you find a burnt jacket in the closet? Did you find a burnt wall? Was there a burnt door? Did he burn himself and catch himself on fire? What now? What? You said he tried to burn down your house. What did he try to burn down? Well, it was just a pile of matches in the closet when he was 5 years old. But Zach said that he tried to. And who told him that that was a thing? Who said that, told Zach that burning down the house and purposely doing that was what he was trying to do? Who told Zach that at 5 years old? Because he said, I don't know, I don't know. He had no idea what he was doing other than grabbing a match and trying to look at the glowy thingy. But he didn't have a name for looking at the glowy thingy. So he just said, I don't know. So where did Zach get this idea? Well, I don't know about that. Well, let's ask Zach. Zach, how did you get the idea? Your father says you tried to burn down his house when you were 5 years old in Westford. Is that true? No, it's not. Well, he says you told him so. Well, it's not that simple. Nothing's ever that simple. You got to get the context. Well, what's the context? Okay, I'm 5 years old, stupid, just like my nephew. My nephew stole my lighter, brought it to school. I end up going to the counter, finding a book of matches. They just lit a candle with it. I said, ooh, that glows. I like that. The book of matches were right there. I took it, went to the frickin' bedroom, went in the closet, tried to light one to look at it. Nope, I didn't hold it right. Tried to look, and I kept on holding it straight up, so the flame wasn't even lighting. But I kept on trying to look at the glowy thing. It didn't work, so I walked away. Left the pile on the floor, just walked away. Now, I deserve a spanking, right? But no, my mother's going to fuck with my head and abuse me instead. Watch this. So my mother finds the book of matches on the ground used. She calls me over. She goes, why are these book of matches here? I say, I don't know. I don't know. She goes, yes, you do. Yes, you do. Why are these book of matches here? I said, I don't know. I don't know. She goes, I know. You could have burned down the house, so you're trying to burn down the house. Admit it. I know you were trying to do that. And then I go, I don't know. I don't think so. I don't know. No, you need to tell your father what you just tried to do. You could have burned down the house, so you're trying to burn down the house. And that's it. I'm telling you that. I don't want to hear any more about that. You did this. Okay, I tried to burn down the house? Yes, you did. Now I'm going to go get your father, and you're going to tell him what you did. So then she gets my father, and then I have to repeat after my mother. And so then my father's like, you try to burn down my house? No, I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I just took that, and I looked at the glow. What's going on? My mother's crazy what's going on. See, what was supposed to happen is my mother was supposed to do the same thing that Javier's mother did. You come over and you treat your kid decently. You don't abuse him. You don't berate him. You don't fuck with his brain. Abusive berating of a child is a real thing, Dad and Mom. I'm not sure if you realize that, but if your kid says, I don't know, and you start going, oh, yes, you do. You admit it now. Yes, you do. You know what you did. Yes, you do. No, 5-year-olds and 7-year-olds just do stuff. Any adult should know this. If we did this to my nephew, Javier, when he took a lighter to school, now he stole it. I had no idea he's stealing lighters. He then brings it to school. He's curious about the fire. He likes fire. He gets home. I'm supposed to be getting him ready to do his homework. As I go through his homework, I see a lighter at the bottom of the bag. I say, what is this, Javier? He goes, I don't know. I said, did you bring this to school? He goes, I don't know. I go, okay, let me tell you something. When I was your age, if I did something like this, they would have me held down and injected with medication against my will. Do you understand what that? Oh, that's scary. Yeah. And that's what they did to me when I tried to bring a lighter to school, or if I just tried to light a match. Instantly, I'm burning down houses and I'm hurting people. So I bring him to his mother and I say, this lighter was mine, and he just tried to bring it to school. The mother has a talk with him. He's punished. He can't have his toys for a while. And that's it. Done. Over with. That's a proper situation. So who is acting wrong? Who actually did the wrong stuff about this burning the house down stuff? My mother. She's the one that came up with the story, I'm burning the house down, and then drilled it into her 5-year-old son. When her son said, I don't know, my mother said, well, I do know you're trying to burn down the house. And then she said, you gotta say it. You gotta admit it. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. That type of attitude. So the problem is with the crazy ass Munchausen mother. It's not with the 5-year-old winning the swimming medal. It's not with the 5-year-old playing with matches like any other kid. He just needs a spanking. It's not with the 5-year-old going to school. It's not with the 5-year-old who just had an overdose on the ground and is now sucking his skin to figure out why his body was suddenly changed. It's not the 7-year-old who teachers are wondering why there's a sudden change in his body, putting him in physical therapy, speech therapy, all of a sudden because there's a change in his body. It's not the doctors who are concerned about what's coming out of the child's mouth. It's the mother who's saying, oh, it's nothing, don't look into it. It's the mother who's fighting the schools against when they're trying to help. It's the mother who's putting thoughts and words into this child's mouth, making him seem a certain type of way, when all he did was play with a book of matches. It's the mother who's slipping the kid pills, making him pass out, his breathing slow down, he loses his vision, and he can't feel his body right for the rest of his life. It's the mother who's pushing for extra drugs. You can look at it very clearly, because when I was living in the orphanage, no drugs but one pill. The psychiatrist used to see you. They never overdrugged you like my mother did. Then I meet an adopted mother. By the time I'm 7, I'm loaded up on pills. I've had an overdose. I can't move my body right anymore. I'm not speaking the same ever again. I'm not walking the same. They had a sudden change in my body. Everybody was pointing it out. But I'm only a little child going, I don't know, I don't know, as the teachers try to call home, but my mother isn't hearing it. My mother will not work with anybody if it's something to do with her. If she's the one with the mental illness, forget it. She's going to rip me out of that doctor and send me someplace else. If the teachers are calling home saying she got a problem, forget it. Those teachers are stupid. They don't know what they're saying. That was my family's attitude. So, then I'm brought to Texas as soon as doctors and teachers start trying to help too much. As soon as they start trying to catch on what's going on. Then I moved to Texas. So who has the problem? Why at 32... Do I have a problem of my own? No, I don't have any problem. The only problem I have is I got a shitty father and a shitty mother telling stories. They have a problem. My mother and father have a problem with calling my doctors and destroying my health care on purpose. They've already done this, and now it needs to be fixed, and they don't want to. They want to continue calling and making up stories. So I'm cut off of my emergency bracelet. I'm going to be cut off of my epilepsy medication. I'm going to lose my apartment, all because I cannot see a doctor properly. When I go into the doctors, they are weaponized by all this fraudulent information. They don't know up and down. If I tell them I just woke up from a seizure and I'm sober, and they find no drugs in my system, all they have to go on is his parents say he was a drug addict, he was living in the woods for years as an alcoholic, and his mother says he has all these made-up illnesses. That's all they have to go on. That doesn't help them with the epilepsy. It doesn't help them. So I give them the information they need. They go, oh, now you make perfect sense, Zach. Your mother had Munchausen syndrome. She was giving you way too many pills. She moved you around the country, burying those medical records. That's why we can't find any medical records before 12, because your mother buried them, but they do exist. They sure do. Okay. And then we see all these fucking drugs and stories about you all of a sudden. But the teachers say you're a different person. We're getting good reports from your teachers. Your teachers say you look like your mother's fucking you up with drugs every morning. We got that. We got that you look fucked up every morning on drugs. But these are your prescription pills, your mother says. So we got that. And the teachers say you're a great student, you're always helping out, but you have a learning disability. So I'm always nice, kind, helpful. I'm never acting much for suicidal in those places. The worst case scenario is I take cough medicine like any other high schooler would, but instead my teachers want to send me to the hospital. Well, that's because I went to a special ed school. See, in regular high schools, you take cough medicine. The teachers don't fucking care. They don't send you to the hospital. They send you home with your parents. But my high school, if any kid was caught with cough medicine, they would hold you in a room, lock the door until the police arrived, and then have you go to the hospital. So, there's different stuff like that. But the main problem in my life isn't any of that stuff. All that stuff made me stronger. I'm sober today, and I'm helping other addicts because I worked hard, and I'm able to do things that none of my family can do. My family's a selfish, lazy bunch. They want to work for their own selves, and when society breaks down, they're just going to whine, well, society is not helping me no more. Meanwhile, I've been giving back to society while working for free. Well, I doubt any of them. I don't think anybody in my family could live with a disability causing them to bleed on the side of the road, get off the side of the road, get stitches on your face, have to learn how to speak and walk again, and go to work while this happens with no medical care giving you the medicine you need. I would like to see like let's pick somebody out who has a disability similar to mine, and then we'll see how they do. Okay, Joey. Joey is a person in the family that has epilepsy. Different type though, very different. But let's say that his mother cut off his medical care like mine did. Let's say his mother made sure to call him a storyteller over and over, so that way when he's on the ground bleeding, they say he's faking it, he's doing that on purpose. Well, what would happen is that eventually he would get such a severe head injury that they find him unconscious. Well, they find that with me, but remember, he doesn't get to go to the hospital every time. He gets to be left in the woods on the side of the road with his seizures. So what would happen to Joey if he was left in the woods with his epilepsy, not able to get treatment when he is brought to the emergency room? What would happen to Joey if his mother made up stories and had him living in the woods because he has epilepsy, has problem with his epilepsy, but he's not allowed to get treatment? I've been having problems moving my body for 25 fucking years. Hundreds of doctors have tried to tell my father and mother to deal with this. But my mother would say, no need, no need, and then convince my father, no, they're stupid. These doctors don't know what they're talking about. We don't need an ambulance. We don't need to bring them to the emergency room. No, no, no. Because my mother was slipping me pills. Every time I got sick from my mother slipping me pills, you know how you can tell? She would not call or bring me to the doctors. Anything else happened in my life. Even I slip in a pool, fall, my foot gets caught in a pool and I get sliced on the heel. My mother's calling doctors right after the hospital. But if my mother was slipping me pills, those she let me get worse. And we know this for Halloween. I used to get sick on clockwork. She used to give me pills when she wasn't getting her way on Halloween. I would get violently sick from those pills. But was I brought to the emergency room? Never. My mother would baby me and get her way. Okay, how about another one? Well, the overdose. She was on the phone with emergency personnel and they told her to bring me to the emergency room. I'm experiencing